Let's plan our upcoming Disney trip together. I am so excited to be sitting down with y'all to plan this upcoming trip with y'all. I'm also slightly embarrassed because this is definitely me procrastinating at my finest because we leave for Disney next week and today is Friday. So we leave in about 5 days and I have not done any planning. Honestly, this month has just been a little bit crazy and have kind of felt very like scatterbrained and haven't had a chance to sit down and film it. So now it's Friday night, it's after work, and I am going to get these things done. I love planning. I obviously love Disney and love just all of the fun planning and excitement that goes into it. I feel like planning the trip like adds to all of the excitement building up beforehand. So we definitely have an idea of things that we really want to do and get done, but I'm super excited just to kind of talk y'all through our plans and what we are hoping to do. The last time we went to Disney was at the end of February this year, so it feels like it's been a really long time, but I also recognize it hasn't been that long of a time. But also I feel like in this short time span, a lot of things have changed and some very big things that we're really looking forward to experiencing either again or for the first time. Also, I don't know, you probably can't see it, but I am wearing my Disney Tokyo shirt okay, so we went to Disney World in February, but we went to Disney Tokyo in May. So it really hasn't been that long. We got to go on a trip to Japan with some of our very best friends back in May. We were in Japan for 2 weeks, and I actually have a vlog from one of the days at Disney Tokyo, or at Disney Sea. So I will put the link here if you are interested in that because it was so much fun, and I'm really curious to see like how it changes my perspective when we go back to Walt Disney World, because definitely when we were there we were like, oh my gosh, this is like Disney World on a whole new level, just because it's so like elevated and everything is done to like literal perfection there. That's a whole different tangent, but just very curious to see how we feel like afterwards and just being able to compare them a little bit more closely. Also, you can probably see in the corner are the Aristocats that we also got in Tokyo. If you watch the vlog, you'll see everyone's like really into plushies there. It's not really like a pin trading scene, but more of plushies, so had to get all the cats. But for today, for planning, I made a little Disney vacation planner on my iPad. I've recently gotten into digital planning and use like other templates for like a day-to-day planner, but couldn't really find something that I liked for the Disney planning, so decided to create my own, and it just allows me to kind of like write the goals that we have for each day. Because we have annual passes and because we have been kind of recently, we're not trying to shove a ton of things into our days. Also, because the trip is in July, we know it is going to be hot as heck. It's also hot as heck in Texas here, so I feel like when people have like that argument, I'm like, well, it's just as hot here. So it's not necessarily like that we're not used to the heat, it's just being outside standing all day in the heat I think will definitely be a lot. So we've never done a trip where we have incorporated like going back to the hotel for rest. Even growing up, I went to Disney all the time. We did not do that. Like, we were there, we were going for the parks, we were not going to take a break. But now I'm like, especially for this trip, I'm like, you know, I think taking a break is actually a very good idea, and we're actually doing our first like full rest day where we don't go to the parks at all, which I think is going to be so much fun. So let's just get all into it. So let's get into what our day-to-day schedule is going to look like. Also, if I'm looking down, it's just because I have my iPad with the plans and I'm going to be taking notes if there's something that we haven't like thought through or aren't sure what to do. So if I'm looking down, that's why. But for our first day, honestly, in the past, I think all of our Disney trips, we've flown out at like 5 a.m. and I'm glad we do it once we land, but the waking up is just so rough. So for this one, we actually scheduled like a normal flight time. So we'll be leaving at 8:15 and getting in around noon. Y'all, I am so excited for this trip. We are going to be staying at Caribbean Beach, which is a new hotel for the both of us. I'm so excited. It's kind of become like a fun thing for us. Whenever we go, we want to try a different hotel. So far we've done Pop Century, All-Star Movies, Art of Animation, and Animal Kingdom Lodge. We just did one night at Animal Kingdom Lodge when we got DVC points last time. It was such a treat, and we are so excited to be staying here. One of the biggest reasons that we picked this hotel or this resort in particular was because we know we're going to be taking a rest day and we know we're going to be taking some afternoons off, and so we wanted to pick a place that had a really cool pool. And so looking at it, we're between here and Boardwalk. Obviously Boardwalk is much more expensive, so just for like price reasons and because the pool still looked really cool at Caribbean Beach, we decided to go there. And so I'm so excited. I can't remember, I don't think I've been there ever before, like even as a kid. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what it's like. It's a Skyliner resort. Skyliner is our favorite mode of transportation, so super excited about that. But we'll check in around 12:30, and like a lot of people on our check-in days, we try to keep it, at least for longer trips, we try to keep it a little more relaxed. And so we won't be going to the parks that day, so we will check in, and honestly we're just hoping to have all afternoon at the pool, which just sounds so heavenly. Hopefully we'll just be there all afternoon. Obviously if we want to go somewhere or change our minds, we can, but that is kind of the plan for now. And then I wasn't sure, I looked around at Disney Springs to get dinner reservations, and there were not that many options, but there were a couple, but the places just didn't, they were none of the ones that I wanted to go to. And so I'd initially had a reservation, I can't remember where it was, maybe at the Boathouse, but oh my gosh, I just threw my pen. I don't eat seafood. It looked really expensive, and I was like, you know what? We can probably save some money here. So I ended up making a reservation at Beaches and Cream, which I feel like I don't know if I hear a lot of people talking about it. I think I've seen it mentioned in Reddit, which I love the Walt Disney World Reddit. I just love there for like recommendations, and also it just, whenever I'm missing Disney, it kind of gives me like the Disney feels. It's fun to read through, so that's just a little tip. But I saw some people mention it as one of their favorites, and I feel like it'll be a fun like casual dinner. So ended up getting reservations for there at 6:10, which I'm really excited about. And then we'll probably just eat fairly quickly and then head over to Disney Springs. Something we were talking about last night though, we saw Inside Out 2 literally right when it came out. We technically saw it like the day before because we love Inside Out so much, and we've been wanting to see it again and just haven't had the opportunity to. And so I think I might actually I feel like it would be really fun to see it at Disney Springs. I think it might end up being a pretty late night because the dinner reservation is at 6:10, but I feel like if there was a showing at even like 7:45 or like 8 or something like that, I feel like that could be really fun, and we've never seen a movie there before, so I feel like that would be such a treat. Okay, so I just looked up times for Inside Out 2. They have 6:45, which obviously wouldn't work, or they have 9:30. So I think I'm going to make a note of that, and I think I'm actually going to keep an eye on our dinner reservation, and if there ends up being a time that opens up a little bit before, then that would allow us to go to the 6:45. 9:30 is that's a little bit much to me. I can't stay up that late anymore. That would just not set the trip off on the right tone. So I'm gonna write that down and make a note just to keep paying attention to that time. That's that for day one. And then our first full park day is always Hollywood Studios. That is both of our favorite parks, so we have to start there. And last time we went, maybe even the last 2 times, I think just the last time we went, Rock and Roller Coaster was closed for refurbishment. I actually haven't seen what the heck they were doing to it. I have no idea what they have done, but I do know that it is back open now, so that is on our to-do list for sure. That's one of my favorite rides there. It's not my favorite, but it is one of my favorite rides, and like really nostalgic for me because my family really loved that one. So I think as of now, our plan gets a little bit hazy, just kind of depending on like Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes and whatnot. I also know they've just recently introduced, I should probably look into it, they have introduced something new that I have not been paying attention to just because just haven't had the time or capacity to. So I know there's some type of new like lightning lane situation that I definitely need to look into. But we always rope drop Rise of the Resistance, so we go straight there, and then since it's kind of close, I mean it is close to Toy Story Land, and then we go right over to Toy Story Mania with the intention of getting like Genie Plus for Tower of Terror, or I guess now Rock and Roller Coaster. That's where I'm like, I think the day is just, we're gonna have to see how it goes, and then we obviously always have to do Mickey and Minnie's, and so all of that is kind of just like all sometime in the afternoon. And there are a couple things at Hollywood Studios that we've actually never done before, which I feel like because we always do a full day there, even if we're only taking like a 72-hour trip, like that is the one park that will always get the full park day. But we've actually never done the Frozen show. I can't talk. We've never actually done the Frozen show, and we've also never done Swirling Saucers, which I do love the aliens. They are one of my very favorite characters out of all Disney and Pixar, so that is on our list if we're able to. I feel like we're going to be cramming in a lot, and also honestly probably having to wait in some lines, just again depending on all of it and whatever that new system is. Something else we've never done is we've done Slinky during the day, but we really want to do Slinky at night. I feel like that would be so much fun, and so I have that on here to do it at night. Then something Dom has been asking about is getting a reservation at Oga's, which is the bar over in the Star Wars area. Trip together, and Dom's first trip to Disney, we went to Oga's, but that was back in September, so it's been a long time since we have been, but they have, even after the park is closed, you can still have reservations there. Galaxy's Edge area is just so cool at night and when it is empty, so I'm going to check on the app really fast and see if it's possible for us to still get reservations. Definitely, literally like every single time slot is available, which honestly is a good sign. I'm really hoping, because it is going to be so hot, that it's not going to be like insanely crowded. I really don't know what to expect. I feel like obviously it's a summertime is when like teachers and families can go, but I also know it is extremely hot, so I honestly don't know what to expect. So I'm going to make a reservation at 9:15 at Oga's. I'm so excited. I think that's gonna be so fun. So ideally we will be ending the night at Oga's, and then we will head back home, and the next day, also, I think Hollywood Studios is the only day that we'll probably try and not take a rest in the middle of the day, just because we feel like there's like so much to do, and again, a lot of the rides that we really want to do will probably have longish lines, so we'll see if we end up taking a rest day. But the next day, our second full park day, we're going to Magic Kingdom. I'm so excited. I also feel like there's a lot of new to us stuff that we haven't been able to do, including obviously Tiana's. It just opened a couple weeks ago, so cannot wait for that. I know they're still, at least I'm pretty sure they're still doing a queue-based system, so we'll probably just err on the side of caution and get lightning lanes for that. And that's where I feel like I really need to look into like what the new system is, because if I need to go ahead, I think it's like you can get them now a week in advance, so I just really need to look into that and figure all of that out, because we will definitely be doing that for Tiana's. Something else I was really looking forward to, and now I'm really sad because they don't offer it anymore, was the like Sleepy Hollow waffle at the Friars Nook. I'd never gotten it. I don't know why I hadn't gotten it, because it looked so good. And now I'm sad that they do not offer it anymore. So I literally had that as a note because I wanted to make sure that I had it, and now I can't. But I do feel like there's still obviously a ton of really great food at Magic Kingdom that we love, and a lot of stuff that we haven't tried either. So this trip, I think I want to be better about like being on the lookout, because I'm just realizing that they introduce new foods all the time, and that's one of our favorite things at Disney, is just like trying all the different foods. So I'm gonna be better about paying attention to all of that. So like I mentioned, we've got several things at Magic Kingdom that we have not yet done together. I'm sure I've done a lot of these rides when I was little, just because they are rides that are more for little kids, but we have never done Snow White before, and so our plan is to rope drop Snow White and then do all the food and eat after. We have never done the People Mover together, so anything that we haven't done together, it means Dom hasn't done, period. So it's like he's never done the People Mover, we've never done Carousel of Progress. Like, there are just like classic things like that we haven't had a chance to do yet that I'm so excited to do. We've also, I don't know if we'll have time, we had said we really wanted to study up some videos and figure out how to get Galactic Hero. So since the trip is like only a couple days away now, I don't know if we'll have time to do that, but maybe like at the airport or something like that, we can watch some videos and see if we have a chance to get Galactic Hero. And that's kind of it for Magic Kingdom. I think we'll definitely take a break halfway through the day or just around lunchtime and go back to the pool and chill, but ideally we'll be able to hit some of these rides that we haven't been able to do before, and obviously we will end with Happily Ever After. And then the next day, I'm so excited because it is going to be our full rest day, which I mentioned at the beginning, but it's something we have never done before, but honestly I think is going to be amazing, because I always end Disney trips, especially longer ones, just being so happy but so exhausted. Just like Disney tired is something unlike anything else. So really trying not to plan too many things for this day, and I think we'll just kind of play it by ear and see where the day takes us. I'm hoping we can sleep in and watch Mickey cartoons in bed. There is nothing like Mickey cartoons in bed, and I feel like that's something we miss out on because we're like up and at 'em so much, and so I'm really excited just for a slower morning. And then I've got Trader Sam's as a potential. Obviously I hear everyone rave about it, but I don't think I've ever been, like, period, because I don't think we would have gone as we were kids, and Dom's obviously never been. How many times can I say that? But neither one of us have been to Trader Sam's, and so I have that as a potential for like middle of the afternoon. I know you need to kind of get there early because from what I've seen, you can't make reservations. Let me know if I'm wrong, but can't make reservations, but I feel like everyone just raves about it. So would love to go to that. And we've also never done the boardwalk together. So I feel like that could be a fun nighttime activity, but something we've also realized like we really love and is so comforting is getting pizza and watching that in bed while we watch a Disney movie back at our resort. So I feel like we kind of need to pick between either doing the boardwalk, because I feel like that's a nighttime vibe just with like all the bars and everything, or are we gonna pick to do a movie in bed? So I feel like that's why we're kind of just like, whatever, we'll just play it by ear, see where it all takes us. Like, who knows? I'm just so excited to have rest day. And so for our third park day, we will be doing both Animal Kingdom and Epcot. We will be starting at Animal Kingdom because the last few times we've gone, we haven't been able to do Everest, and we've also never done the safari together because the safari, in my opinion, is best either early morning or late at night. I think that's when most of the animals are out. We just like haven't been able to do that. When we did Animal Kingdom in February, we rope dropped. I am like not an Avatar or Pandora person, so I can't even remember the name of the ride. Flight of Passage, I think. Whatever the more popular one is. We rope dropped that, and I was like, okay, we're good. I've done it. I've seen it. Just not, those just aren't my movies. Like, not the type of thing I'm interested in. And so because of that, we weren't able to rope drop Safari. By the time we got off the ride, there was already like a 50-minute wait, and I was like, we're not doing that. So this time we will be rope dropping Safari. They have a really good coffee that is like right next to it. I don't know if it'll be open when we rope drop it, but I'm like already dreaming of that coffee. It's like a cold brew, like coconut situation. It is so good. And after Safari, hopefully we will rush over to Everest and get that done. And then the last time we really wanted to do one of the one of the animation classes, and we didn't know when they were, and so we got to one when it was like halfway through, and they were so kind to let us still like hop in. But ideally we would make it to an animation class and be able to take like the whole thing this time. And then I think we want to end Animal Kingdom just by getting a drink and getting some appetizers at Nomad Lounge. I don't think you can make reservations for that. Let me double check. It doesn't look like you can make reservations for that, but we would love to go. We have never done that either. And then we'll take another afternoon back at our hotel, and then we'll head over to Epcot. And I'm really excited because I also feel like there's a lot of Epcot that we haven't been able to do. I feel like that's one of my favorite things about Disney. Like, there's always something new to do and something new and exciting. No matter how many times like you've gone, there is just always something. So we haven't had a chance to go to like the aquarium or the Finding Nemo show yet, and since we've last been, there's now the Encanto show, which I just cannot wait to see. I love Encanto. Encanto is like my comfort movie. I am obsessed with it. It's so good. And we still haven't seen Luminous either, so those are kind of like the big hitters for Epcot. Obviously we will hopefully try and get the lightning lanes for Guardians of the Galaxy. I need to write that down because, again, whatever the new system is, I need to make sure I know what it is. So those are kind of the big things for Epcot and Animal Kingdom. And then we have our last day. So sad, but I feel like we are so spoiled by getting 4 full days at the parks. Like, it just sounds like such a dream. But initially when we booked this trip, Rock and Roller Coaster wasn't going to be open until like that weekend, and so we wouldn't have been able to go our first day at Hollywood Studios. So when we talked about it, we initially said we would go back to Hollywood Studios just to make sure we could ride it, and hopefully we'll be able to do that on our first day at Hollywood Studios. But also knowing how much we love Hollywood Studios, we'll likely just go back to Hollywood Studios no matter what. So I feel like it's fairly safe to say that we will be going to Hollywood Studios on our last day. And obviously if we don't get to go to something else or we're unable to do like a ride at a different park, we can add that in for our last day. But we have our flight at like 6 p.m. so we'll probably, I try and get to the airport with like 2 hours time, so we'll probably want to leave for the airport sometime around 4, so we'll still have a good chunk of time in the parks. But I think I'm just gonna leave that day open just because who knows what we'll get done, or who knows how we'll be feeling. Maybe we just want to end up just hanging at the pool one more time. I have no idea. But those are kind of the general plans for our trip. I'm so excited. I have, as you can see, or as you saw in like my planner, I've got a space to plan my outfits, and that is something I really need to be thinking about because I truthfully haven't thought about it at all. And when we were in Tokyo, I was super inspired because like everyone was just like dressed to perfection, truly. Like the plushies definitely played a part in that, but also people were really like, Disney bounding was a huge thing over there, and I was like, that is so fun. Like I want to do that more back home. Like when we go to Walt Disney World, I want to do that, and I feel like I just like kind of dropped the ball on that for this trip just because I've been procrastinating. So I definitely got a lot of like shorts and skirts and stuff, obviously because that's like what I wear on a day-to-day basis here. But I feel like I need to just think through like the new emos, maybe like backpack and bag situation. So I will do that later. I don't think I'll make a video on that, but obviously you'll see my outfits and all of the vlogs that we are going to do. I'm so excited. This will be our first time vlogging our trip, except for Tokyo, which I feel like I was just like, we have to do this. But honestly, we learned a lot vlogging while we were there. But I'm so excited to be vlogging this upcoming trip. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the Disney vlogs. And I just so appreciate you for watching and making it this far. And I can't wait to see you in the next video.